All right, this is section 2.4 on biconditionals. So a biconditional is a conditional that goes in two directions. Bi means two. A bicycle has two sickles. So a biconditional is two conditions all in one statement. And you'll recognize a biconditional statement typically by these words here, if and only if. And we'll look at some examples here in a second, but this if and only if part is going to kind of flag out for you a biconditional statement right away. And so if it tells you to write a biconditional statement, you're going to be using this if and only if, which again we'll talk about in a second. And if you see this phrase here, if and only if, it's a biconditional. Now, because mathematicians are lazy, we use a shortcut for this. Instead of saying if and only if, we'll put these two arrows. P, if and only if, Q. So this symbol right here is really the same as two arrows. One arrow going in this direction and one arrow going in the converse direction. So we've got our if and only if, goes in two directions, forwards and backwards. So an example of a biconditional statement might be, Alex can paint if and only if he has paint, which makes sense. But that's our biconditional. Again, you'll see it says if and only if right here, if and only if. So Alex can paint if and only if he has paint. We break that down, Alex can paint if and only if he has paint. If we read that forwards as a conditional, it would look something like this. If Alex can paint, then he has paint. So we've taken out that if and only if piece, and we've replaced it with our if then. So here's our if and only if. If we read this forwards, we're taking that if here, we're putting it at the beginning. And this and only if is really becoming our then. So Alex can paint if and only if he has paint. If we read that forwards, it would say if Alex can paint, then he has paint. What the biconditional does going the other direction, I'm going to get rid of that here, is if we read it backwards, would say if Alex has paint, then he can paint. Essentially here, these two statements in red are the conditional and the converse, which is what a biconditional is. It's the conditional, if Alex can paint, then he has paint. And then we can read it backwards, go in the other direction. If Alex has paint, then he can paint. And that is the converse of the original conditional, which is a lot of big words. So I'll say that one more time with lots of big words and big vocabulary. The biconditional statement is a combination of the conditional and the converse. What that really means is this black biconditional statement here, we can read it going forwards. If Alex can paint, then he has paint. And we can read it going backwards. If he has paint, then Alex can paint. And that's what our biconditional statement allows us to do. That's pretty much it. That's a biconditional statement. That's what we're doing. It takes a lot of practice. No matter how many examples I give you, it's the same thing over and over again. But I can't give you every example. So you're going to have to practice and look at some other examples on your own. Okay?